Baking is one of the best things about the holidays, and even though we may not be able to be with our friends and family this holiday, I say we still bake. So let's have a virtual bake-off with our friends, with our family, with whomever wants to participate. So I started making something called a lemon cheese bread when I was about 10 or 11 years old, and it's one of the things that my family asks for every single year. It's perfect for Easter and Passover, and I've decided to make it this year. So I've already made the dough. So you start off with a basic bread dough, and you have to let it rise for a little bit. Then you punch it down, and you roll it out into approximately like a 14 by 12 shape. So let me just roll this out here, kind of see how this is done. If you've never made bread before, go for it. It's always fun. And it tastes so delicious. Have a nice floured surface here. Like this rolled out nice and good. I'm going to roll it out to about somewhere between an eighth and a quarter inch, maybe an eighth, about an eighth and 3/16 of an inch, possibly. So it's fairly thin. You get it? Something like cinnamon roll dough if you make cinnamon rolls. Something about rolling out bread dough that brings back memories of my mom in the kitchen. Knowing that family and friends were going to be coming over the next couple of days, that's always a great time. So here we go, we're just about there. Nice and even. Okay. So we get our dough nice and rolled out to a pretty formalized rectangular, which is good. And then we have a lemon cream cheese filling that I whipped up just a few minutes ago. And we're gonna literally spread this right down the center of the bread. This is what makes it delicious. So you don't want to take up too much room around the sides because we're actually going to create a braided look for this bread. So I want to keep it fairly close to the middle. Certainly get it down to the ends. It definitely sort of oozes out when you bake it, so it doesn't need to be too close to the ends either. So something about like this is usually how I leave it. Get all of the goody, yummy stuff out here. And then comes the fun part of making the braid. Just a simple basic knife will work. Always leave a little bit of a larger section at the end, and then about 1 inch increments. You're going to want to have these fairly even. Don't get too close to the cream cheese filling because you want to wrap this across the top. There we go. the same amount of on each end. And then what I do is I start on one end and I sort of create a closure for my bread, and I do the other end. This kind of keeps all of that yummy good stuff on the inside. And then the fun part, braid it across the top and sort of blend it over. This is what's going to make this beautiful when it's all done. You don't want to pull it too tight right in the beginning because it'll start to tear. So sometimes you have to pull these up a bit and kind of get them over so they don't rip. And then you can finish your little twist and your braid. That's so pretty. So once you have your braids all pulled together, just like this, then we have to transfer this to a baking sheet, just like so. Sort of give this a nice little tuck at the end. Make sure everything is nice and perfect. And that's it. We have to wait for this to rise for about 30 minutes, then we're going to put it in the oven, cook it on 375 for about 18 minutes, and then we're going to pull it out and I'll show you what it looks like. We'll be back in a few.